Randolph.
And I'm Heidi Paxton. Thank you for joining us. The city of Eau Claire says it's been getting questions about federal funding.
In a weekly update, city officials laying out how different departments rely on money from the federal government.
WEAU's Daniel Gomez tells us about the role federal dollars play in Eau Claire.
We are very reliant on federal dollars paying for very core services.
We did have a temporary funding freeze that affected many agencies, including the Housing Authority. There hasn't been any direct impacts to transit yet.
The feelings of concern and optimism can be felt among Eau Claire City departments. In the weekly manager's update, the city addressed questions about federal funding. It points to 3 departments. The Housing Authority gets 75% of its funding from the federal government.
We do rely on the federal funding that we've been awarded to reimburse activities that have already taken place, such as construction contracts underway, vendors that we use to conduct Housing Authority business.
Half of the Transit Department's budget is federal dollars for operational costs, which includes pay for drivers. The federal government also reimburses 80% of its capital expenses.
We have a pretty good stock of buses. That's a really big expense capital-wise.
And the federal government funds about 1/3 of the city-county health department's budget.
We use that money to really support health across Eau Claire County in lots of different ways. Those funds support the people that do the work with partners and with individuals in the community.
Housing and transit are keeping calm for now, despite housing being impacted by President Trump's funding freeze back in January.
We're used to a fair amount of uncertainty, right? The Housing Authority does have some amount in reserves for our various programs.
The health department is keeping calm too, but aware it'll be difficult to replace the federal funds.
Another important thing to be aware of is that fairly uniquely in Wisconsin, we get very little state dollars for public health.
Daniel Gomez, WEAU 13 News.
Thanks, Daniel. The city manager's update also listed health department programs that federal dollars pay for. They include lead poisoning prevention, public health emergency response, overdose prevention, and immunization services. That's just to name a few.